Hi everyone, welcome to another video from the Tropica studios. Today we're going to run through our top 5 aquarium plants suitable for this nano tank and hopefully suitable for your nano tanks at home. Very simple layout, but using our beautiful aquarium plants, mostly in our 1-2 grow cups produced here in our Danish state-of-the-art laboratories, and also some beautiful aqua decor products as well, which I'm really excited to talk about. So let's go ahead with the video. So the purpose of this video, like I said, is to introduce our top 5 aquarium plants suitable for this nano aquarium, which measures 60 litres of volume. You may notice some scratches during the video. This tank has been well used, so please do bear with us. We do like recycling our equipment to save energy, etc. We will be actually creating the aquascape, and then as we use each plant, we'll talk about that in more detail, and then we'll run through our top 5 plants, of course. And do let us know which is your favourite, and if you've any experience of using any of these plants. They're not actually all that commonly used, so very excited to see these ones develop. So first step is to install our substrate, in our case Tropica aquarium soil. So here we have our Tropica aquarium soil, proven performer. I've used this in hundreds of aquascapes now, including here at Tropica and at home. This is a 9 litre bag. We won't be probably using the whole bag, or we may do, just see how we go. It is a great home for your aquarium plants. It provides lots of nutrients. It actually reduces the pH and hardness slightly of your aquarium water, making it suitable for most tropical fish, shrimp, snails and plants, of course. It doesn't require any rinsing. Just a really great product, and will last several years if you look after it properly. So really good, and very simply, we just add it to the aquarium. No other additives required. Next, we're going to top off with some aquarium soil powder. It's exactly the same product as the regular soil, just a finer grain. This is the 3 litre bag. I'm just going to add a thin top layer that's going to make planting our nano-friendly aquarium plants much easier. Okay, so our top 5 and top 4 plants for our nano aquarium here are the Hygrophila pinnatifida and the Vesiculara Christmas. These are both suitable for nano aquariums, of course. The Hygrophila pinnatifida will need trimming in order to prevent it from overtaking the aquarium. It is actually a stem plant as well as an epiphyte plant, so that's really interesting. It will also obtain a beautiful red burgundy colour under intense lighting or stronger lighting and CO2 injection, which we have here. The Vesiculara Christmas, or Christmas moss is the common name, is also readily attached to the wood. It's important to note, however, that it is one of those mosses that doesn't attach itself so strongly as other mosses, so you need to be careful if you're using high levels of flow and circulation, and just handle it with care. So without further ado, let's put our aqua decor in the aquarium, position it to make it look as beautiful as possible. Okay, our number 3 plant is Marsellaire minuta, which has recently been renamed from Marsellaire crenata as of today, actually. So it's an exclusive for you guys. So beautiful carpeting plant. It's actually medium category, so you'll need a moderate to strong lighting, CO2 injection, ideally a soil substrate and liquid fertilizers. But it will reward you with a beautiful carpet. It has a smaller leaf than the Marsellaire hirsuta, which is another similar looking plant with bigger leaves, and it's actually easier to grow. But yeah, beautiful plant. Here we have it in a 1-2 grow here, which has a liquid type growth media, which means it's already adapted to grow underwater, meaning that it will start to have new growth and start to send out runners almost immediately, and you'll be rewarded with a beautiful carpet within a matter of weeks, especially if you're using stronger lighting and CO2 injection. So let's prepare our pot now, and very simple process. Peel off the lid, remove the whole plant in one go gently, shake off any excess liquid media there, and we can put that on a bowl of fresh water, give it a gentle squeeze, rinse off all that growth media. That can encourage potentially algae growth. It does contain lots of nutrients, lots of growth hormones, etc. So we want to rinse that off if possible. And then we can then divide it up into several portions. Now, Marsilea minuta is the perfect carpeting plant for a nano aquarium. It doesn't grow too quickly, it has a fine texture, so you obtain that sense of scale when you're using smaller aquariums. It turns quite a dark green. A lot of carpeting plants tend to be a lighter green, so a little bit different there. Actually originates from Australia, and believe it or not, it's actually a type of fern. It's an amphibious fern, so just a really interesting plant. So we've planted our Hygrophila pinnatifida, the Christmas moss attached to the aqua decor, of course, and then our foreground carpet is the Marsilea minuta, recently renamed from Marsilea crenata. Really important during the process is to keep the plants wet, stop them from drying out. So regularly, at regular periods, just do spray them. Plants that, especially plants that have already adapted to underwater growth, they will definitely need spraying, keeping wet. If they do dry out, it can really damage that plant tissue and really cause detrimental effects to the plant. Okay, number 2 plant is our Gratiola viscodula, a beautiful stem plant that's actually not that popular in aquascape, so really happy to use it today. It's a medium category stem plant and it actually tends to remain quite short, so it's a perfect mid-ground transition to our background stems, which we'll talk about later. As I say, medium category, so we'll definitely benefit from stronger lighting, CO2 injection, a soil substrate and liquid fertilisers, which we'll touch on later. So almost the same process as before with preparation. Remove the lid, separate it into lots of portions, clean it of course of that nutrient-rich liquid, and that liquid again is perfect because the plant has readily adapted to be growing underwater. It's actually a very kind of vertical stem plant. It doesn't tend to branch out too much and has a very kind of ornamental appearance, almost like a Christmas tree. It's a really good idea to plant heavily from the start if we can. So we've used 3 pots of the Marsilea so far, and then we're going to be using 3 pots of the Gratiola. Don't be afraid to, when you are planting, don't be afraid to really push it into the soil. As long as that plant is in contact with the soil, it does get some light as well, the plant will soon reach towards the light and grow perfectly out of the soil. It's important that plant is well anchored to start with, otherwise you'll just end up with floating plants when you do fill up with water and switch the filter on. Okay, our number 1 plant, our final plant for this aquascape suitable for nano aquarium plants, is Houghtonia palustris, a beautiful feathery type stem plant. It's actually been around since the 1980s, believe it or not, but just not very popular like some of the other plants in here, which is why it's great to use it in this aquascape. Really like to use plants that we don't often see. It's easy category, so it won't need strong lighting or CO2 injection, but will absolutely benefit from these, and these will give it more compact growth. Of course, it will grow quicker, it will need more maintenance. It is a relatively small aquarium, so this needs to be bear in mind. However, I would always recommend using fast growing plants, especially at the beginning of an aquascape's life when algae is more risky. So if you can, plant a large proportion of the aquarium with fast growing plants, especially stem plants or floating plants. These tend to be the fastest growing out there. So we'll prepare our Houtonia exactly as we did the Gratiola, peel off the lid, remove the plant in one clump, rinse off the growth media, and then split into several portions. So we're fully planted now using our 5 top nano-friendly aquarium plants. You can see from above here that almost every square inch or square centimetre does have a plant in it, and that's really important. We need to plant really heavily from the outset ideally. Maintenance wise we'll talk about later once the tank's filled, but now it's time to fill up with water. We do that nice and gently, otherwise we can potentially uproot the plants or cause cloudy water. So there we have the Nano Aquarium set up, featuring our top 5 Nano Aquarium friendly plants. Starting off with the Hygrophila pinnata feeder and the Christmas moss attached to the aqua decor there. And in the foreground we have the Marsilea minima, the foreground carpeting plant, leading into the midground, which is the Gratiola viscodula stem plant. And then in the background, the beautiful Houtonia palustris. As you can see, it's got a lot of growing in to do. It's actually quite kind of empty, the top kind of 2/3 of the aquarium. However, when those stem plants grow, especially the Houtonia, in a couple of weeks or so, that's really going to fill out nicely. You can see the CO2 now has been fitted and running. We're running about 1 bubble every 2-3 seconds or so. And the lighting here, we've kind of got overkill on the lighting, but we've reduced the power down to about 25%, so we're not going to run into any algae issues. And then we have a small external canister filter there, so everything we need to keep these aquarium plants healthy and successful in the long term. Eventually we'll be feeding some liquid fertiliser. We'll be using a mixture of Tropica Premium and specialised nutrition. So really hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to leave us a comment. What fish would you put in there? And do consider downloading the new Tropica app. I have it right here. An amazing app, fully compatible with Android and iOS devices. And actually you can find out much more details about these individual plants using the app, and actually find out where you can use them in beautiful layouts. Many inspirational layouts using these aquarium plants. So do check that out. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Tropica Aquarium Plants. And finally, use the hashtag #MadeWithTropica for a chance to have your own content featured on our channels. So we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.